Welcome to Not Ashamed. I'm your host, Ashley Nordman, and today I am back with Bart from Project Power.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad we can chat today. We're going to talk all the things, life, relationships.
Some good shit.
Not being a pussy.
Number one most important thing is not being a pussy. I feel like a man needs to have a little fucked upness.
Yeah, like a scar or something like hey, abnormal.
I've lived life. I've been outside.
I mean, you have a cool story. You tore your freaking Achilles.
Yeah.
Did you have to have it re-put back on?
Listen, if you want to do like my bodily harm stories,
yeah, tell me.
we got hours. Look at this. You ready?
I'm ready. Ew!
That's not connected.
Wait, where'd it go?
So I played, yeah, I know, right?
Wait, why do you have a gumby finger?
I played football, right? Semi-pro football, and I was running this way, and it got stuck in someone's helmet going that way. The coolest part about the story was I went to reach to grab a ball to throw back to like the ref, and when I grabbed it, like there's obviously nothing there. So like I played quarterback usually, so I know how to, feels to throw a football. Well, I went to do it, and that finger didn't do anything. So I'm like, fuck.
The finger just didn't move.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's already severed. So I ran to the sideline to the trainers, and I'm like, hey, I need you to cut this off.
Yeah.
And they're like, cut what off? They thought like I had like a string or something. I'm like, no, like this one's not working, cut it off.
The finger?
Yeah. And
you are insane.
They looked at me just like you're looking
savage.
at me. Yeah.
You're like, I don't need that
I'm like,
extremity.
dude, it's not that big of a deal. Just cut it off so I can get back in the game.
The extremity can just go away. Just get it gone.
Yeah.
I don't need a finger.
No, I mean, it's not doing much. So they're like, how about I just tape it to the next finger, you fucking idiot?
Yeah.
Like, whatever, just get me
Let's
back
do something
on the
rational.
field.
How
Yeah.
about?
Well,
You're such a guy.
That's what I'm saying.
Just chop it off.
So veins aren't that big of a deal. Veins aren't that big of a deal, You're
like, veins don't matter because I literally could have lost a phalange.
Yeah,
and then
phalange. Phalange.
Isn't that what it's
I want you
called?
to name the last time you said the word phalange.
Probably in 8th grade when I had to like memorize all the bones in the body.
8th grade.
Like
we just went to 8th grade.
Metacarpal.
Oh my goodness.
Like, I remember weird shit, and I just remember being like, feeling like a badass because I knew all the bones in the body, and I was like,
yeah, well, you probably got a good grade on that test, which is probably why you felt like a badass.
And I didn't really, apply it too much, but now I can pick on you and your
my phalanges. Yeah, that's a cool party trick. I was also paralyzed twice. Did you know that?
Like fully paralyzed?
Yeah. So my sciatic nerve got crushed down both sides because I had a L5-S1 central herniation and then 3 bulges up top. So it crushed my sciatic nerve for so long that the nerve stopped firing. It was neuropathy.
Yeah.
So like you have no feeling. But the reason it was neuropathy is because there was so much pain being sent through the nerves that they turned off. So I was in like level 14 out of 10 pain.
Like it was your body's way of like protecting you.
Yes.
It like shut your body down.
Because there was so much pain and adrenaline and everything being released 24 hours a day for months that eventually it just shut down.
Was this like during football?
This was after. This was when I was 22 and it took me about 7-8 years. Do you know how I stretch people?
Yeah.
So I have an entire business because I unparalyzed myself through that protocol. And now I do that for other people.
Are you serious?
Yeah. So the 5 doctors told me I had to fuse my spine together to ever like walk or anything ever again.
Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck that. Because anywhere that you fuse, it just prevents movement. And then the bottom and top also get fucked up.
Right.
So what I realized after months and months and months and months and months of trying to figure my shit out, your brain is trying to protect you from the injury that's, let's say, spinal, by locking the fuck out of your muscles with a cramp.
Yeah.
So it's literally just massive cramping to a degree that causes excruciating pain because the cramp crushes the nerves. So that means that my brain is controlling my pain, which means I can control my cramp.
Yeah.
So I learned how to do mobility to the point where I got my brain to turn off all the muscular like contractions and all my pain's gone.
I fully believe that that's why like people heal.
1000%.
Because your brain, I mean, obviously your brain, like, have you ever seen that study where it's like your brain can hear like a bad word or it hears like a positive word, like it hears love and then it hears like F you or something.
Yeah.
And like, I can't remember how it works, but when I was in like a functional clinic, they showed me this like book about it, and it shows you like this splatter thing on like under a microscope where it shows you like your cells essentially, and like your cells literally get like frazzled and angry and like they act insane when there's like negative words coming in, and then when there's positive words coming in, they're all like pretty and like healthy. And
do you know there's a literal Korean, I think it was, experiment where a guy put water in jars and the word of love, hate, embarrassment, all these words. And he asked people to walk through and feel the feeling that's on the card next to the water jug, and he froze them all, and the crystals that were made from positive emotions were structured and organized and pretty, and the angry ones were fucking erratic.
Yeah, that's like the same exact thing. It was so crazy. And I'm like a visual person, so I feel like it just instantly made me realize, like, don't tell yourself negative shit, because this is like actually eating your body alive.
Listen, if you go down deep enough, I do a lot of, have you heard of like quantum physics?
Yeah.
Okay, so I do a lot of reading on quantum physics, and like the vibrational energy that all cells and all matter relate to, it is an actual measured thing where a positive energy has X vibration wave and a negative has Y, and the interaction between the balls hitting each other have exactly to do with those wave patterns.
Yeah.
So everything, not just like what I and you can consciously comprehend, but all matter has a reflective state of energy, no matter what. And, we can get real down a rabbit hole with quantum physics, but like all reality has to do with the energy that's being transmitted from one thing to the other.
Yeah, everything's transferring of energies, right?
There is no created, there is no lost. It's just transferred one thing to another.
Yeah.
And when you feel someone's energy, or you have a good mood, or you feel like something's right or wrong, like that is literally what you're experiencing, is that vibrational pattern that you can't really comprehend.
This is like third grade science, but being applied to like life right now.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Because I remember learning about all this, and it's true. It's like energy is just transferred.
One
like
thing.
It's never, like you said, lost. It's like just moving into other
Think
things.
about how fucked up that is, though, because that means since the beginning of time, all that there is has always been, and there's never been more and there's never been less of anything.
Wow. So energy is just being put in different places, and that's why things are being like created, but they're really...
They're not, because, right, they're being transferred.
Wow.
Right. So like that's the coolest thing, is no matter like if you're in a really high or a really low, you have nothing to lose because there's nowhere for it to go. It's just being transferred.
Yeah.
So you're just going to rotate the shit.
It's kind of like reassuring too, because you just know like, okay, right now more of my energy's in maybe like this negative place, but I can control that a little bit.
Yes.
I can like move that into something else, or
yeah.
use it as a positive.
Even positive or negative are just things that we make up to try to make sense of shit. Because think of how many things you thought were negative, and then 3 years later were like the best thing that ever happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Always.
So how the hell could we have named that negative?
Right, because it taught you so much and like led you where you are now, so it's really not a negative. It might just feel that way in that moment.
It just is.
Yeah.
And if you start having this mentality of like everything just is and it's always for my benefit, then even the negative stuff, you don't look at it as a negative thing. I mean, you exercising, every single thing that you do when you're exercising hurts because there's friction. But literally that negativity is what progresses you to go where you want to go. And that's literally life. So if you ever go through life and you don't feel friction, that's the worst. Like you're literally in the worst part.
Yeah.
There's no progress. There's nothing to be gained. There's nothing to be had, ever. Our perception of what we're dealing with when it goes to like, man, I'm having a bad day. It's not bad. You're calling it bad because it's hard. But that hardness is literally what you're after, because every time you fucking go through hard, it feels good.
Maybe that's why I like pain. Because to me, it's like a positive feedback in a way. It's like, okay, I'm pushing myself or I'm challenging myself. And I've noticed like the difference between me and like people that don't get me, they like hate pain. They like run away from it. Like they do not like being uncomfortable. They do not like pushing themselves. They don't like something new. They don't like when it hurts. Like I'm sure you've seen it with training people. Like some people are literally afraid to like have pain like while they're training.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like it scares them. Like the idea of like physically like pushing themselves like scares them so much. But for me, like I love it because I know it's taking me somewhere new.
Torn Achilles, paralyzed, abusive father. Like I have pain stories forever, right?
Yeah.
And then it somehow turned into this like thirst for progress, because all those pain points, once you progress through them, are the highlights of your fucking life. Mm-hmm. So like why do you think you have that?
I think for me, it's kind of the same. Like in a way, it's almost familiar because I was always dealing with pain and I had to learn from like a very early age. Like I didn't really have the greatest upbringing either. And so when I was going through hard times, it was like, am I going to just let this define me, or am I going to use it as a challenge? And I've always been someone who loves a challenge. I don't know. It's just like innately like who I am. And so I think after a while, you just get kind of sick of your own shit. And at first, like, I kind of used it as like, oh, I'm a victim. Like, I can't believe this is happening to me, because I was young and like didn't really understand like why I was going through what I was. But for me, like, I'm a control freak in a way. And so I think like when I would put myself through pain, it like felt like I was controlling something in my life in a way, even though it was kind of like weird, you know? So I just used it as like a positive. And so like in sports, for example, growing up, like I remember anything that was hard, I was like, I'm doing that. Like I want to push myself to the point where like I want to throw up or where I like want to die running up this hill.
No shit.
Because it like makes you feel something.
That young?
Yeah. I mean, I was probably in like junior high school and I just remember being like, I will do anything right now to like feel something. And I like still am kind of working through like why I love that and crave that.
That's a typical response for someone who has been forced into pain that they didn't choose to be in. Yeah. But that's like the most amazing metaphor for life because like pain is part of the equation no matter what. You nailed it at a young age. What people don't learn until they're fucking 40 is like you get to choose pain or life chooses your pain.
Yeah.
You don't get no pain. That's never part of it, right? So if you get to choose your pain, at least you get the outcome that you've wanted. Whereas if life chooses your pain, you're just getting pain for the sake of pain because you have no fabrication of where this is gonna get you. So you just think that like, woe is me, life sucks, nothing good ever happens to me. Whereas that same pain can get you where you wanna go. And you learn from a young age, as long as I put myself into the pain, it's somewhere I want to be.
You're like my therapist right now. Because I've been trying to figure that out for so long, and you literally just nailed it in like 2 sentences.
Well, it's because I'm the same way.
Yeah.
But I didn't learn that until way fucking later. I was a charismatic, lazy procrastinator that was able to avoid shit to the best degree you've ever seen in your life.
I would never peg you as that kind of guy.
Really?
Ever.
I'm talking until I was like 22.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Now you're like the exact opposite.
Exactly.
You throw yourself in shit when you know you don't want to do it. You're like, I'm going to figure it out and I'm going to do it right now.
That's right.
Because you don't hold back like at all.
It ruined my life.
Yeah.
I hated myself for so fucking long because the world perceived me as what you just described. Because I made a phenomenal first impression on everybody. I was funny, charismatic, like I knew what to say. I was a great actor. But I knew I wasn't that fucking person. So I would do that and I would avoid you like the fucking plague for the rest of my life to not fuck up your perception of me.
That makes so much sense because I feel like that's what like so many men do. Like they get it right the first like 1 or 2 interactions, but then they're afraid to like get vulnerable or open up with you because then they're going to reveal that they're a fraud.
That's right.
And maybe they aren't really a fraud. Like they want to be the person they show you up front.
That's right.
But like they still haven't worked through the shit and they know that they can only, you know, carry that for so long and eventually they're going to reveal like the things that they haven't actually worked through yet.
They're a pussy. That's the ultimate fucking bottom line. I was a fucking coward, right? Because I'd be like, here I am, and you're like, oh my God, you're amazing. And I'd be deathly afraid of letting you down.
Okay.
I'd be deathly afraid of not being that guy.
Yeah.
I'd be deathly afraid of the work it actually required to be that superhero that I made myself out to be.
Yeah.
And I know hundreds of thousands of dudes that have that same mentality of they know what it takes, but they're just like you said earlier, the people that are afraid to work out because of the pain. It's hard to show up at the fucking accountants when you don't have very good financials. It's hard to fucking show up at your mom's when you don't have a good relationship with her. It's hard to show up early to work when you're getting your fucking ass kicked every single day you're there. Like, that shit is fucking hard to do. And most dudes avoid it. And that's why a lot of women, I think, in a relationship setting, I think that's where all that animosity comes from, the video games and the drinking and the this and the that. It's because dudes are constantly trying to avoid the responsibility of being the superhero they know they're supposed to be and have painted themselves the picture as such.
Yeah.
Right? So instead of actually showing up and doing the work and getting stuff done, I'll let you know that I know it's there, but then I'll make an excuse as to why I need this rest. I'll make an excuse as to why I need this break. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And are they valid sometimes? I'm sure. They're justified? Sure. But dudes are fucking terrified of being the man that they're supposed to be.
The biggest thing like I've seen is that for whatever reason, they just don't want to bet on themselves. Like they legitimately don't think they have what it takes to be the man they need to be.
Yeah.
And so at first they like the idea of you and they like the attention and they like, you know, whatever. I feel like surface level stuff is so easy, you know, so that stuff's fine. But then the second you have to like get into the shit and actually like have a relationship with someone or like go deep with them, like that's terrifying because they don't believe in themselves. And so it ends up going back to like insecurity.
Well, think from a dude's perspective, like I'll tell you like what an upbringing for a guy is like. And my dad was as manly of a man as you can possibly be. Like he was not a American manly man where it's cool to be manly. He was a fucking Polish manly man where like he was born in World War II. You know what I'm saying? Like this
he's been through some shit.
This motherfucker does not give a shit. From a young male's perspective in that like household, There is immense guilt and shame when you don't step up to the plate. And that is a constant reminder. Why didn't you do this? This is what a man does. This is what a man does. This is what a man does. Not from a toxic standpoint where like, you're not supposed to have feelings. You're not supposed to have this. It's anytime you procrastinate, anytime you're lazy, anytime you don't do the responsible thing, anytime you don't speak up, anytime you don't take control, anytime you're not a leader, that shit is fucking thrown in your face over and over and over and over and over again. And the amount of kids that buy into that, I think is rather low. Instead, they do what I do and fucking run. They run away as far as they possibly can. Silence and solitude is tattooed on my arm because when I had the very first moment at 17, 16, I fucking bolted and I cemented myself alone by myself in college. I pretended to be my own roommate. I don't know if you listened to that episode. I literally went through Lindenwood University's registration line, and I pretended to be two different people so I could live by myself.
You are insane.
I know.
You are insane.
But through my laziness, I was somehow like, responsible. I don't know. Like
tactical.
I got shit done, out of my laziness. But like I wanted so little responsibility because it was constantly forced. Like you need to be.
So it was like too much pressure. It was like pressuring you so much that you wanted to run away from it.
That's right. And so I did. Not many people get that chance, so they spend their whole life as a man mitigating that pressure. So the wife says, I need you to step up, and the guy steps up a little bit and then fucking goes to his man cave, right? And he steps up a little bit and he fucking goes plays video games. Like, and she just wants more out of this fucking guy. Like, why don't you just give me more? And so the dude's constantly trying to run away. I had the opportunity for like 4 years to run as far away as you could. I was by myself, no TV, fucking like all alone.
In college? Is this one? Yeah.
Yeah. So
and you wanted to be alone, like in solitude, like away from all the pressure and all the outside voices?
Date, I didn't go to bars. I didn't have friends. I did the thing where I made a great first impression. I had lots of people know who I was.
Yeah.
I had lots of people say lots of nice things about me. Not one of them had any personal fucking stories because I didn't hang out with anybody.
Okay.
Okay?
Do you feel like that was like healing for you or no?
Have you ever heard of like if you feel an emotion, feel it all the way through until it's dead?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I did with aloneness. I wanted the lack of pressure. I wanted the lack of responsibility. So I literally gave myself that opportunity for 4 years where I had fucking none. I didn't owe anything to anybody. I didn't commit anybody's relationship-wise. I didn't do anything I didn't want to do, right? Anything that would make me feel uncomfortable, I didn't fucking do.
That's a long time to commit to that.
Yes, it took me that long.
Did it change you? Is this where you changed?
Where I started noticing is after 4 years, I'm like, I'm not happy. I thought I'd be happy with no pressure. I thought I'd be happy with no responsibilities, with no connections to people. I thought I'd be happy. I was the exact opposite. I'm like, I haven't experienced shit. I haven't done fucking anything.
Yeah.
Right?
So avoiding that pain actually is more painful. So
it's the most painful.
What pain are you going to choose?
Now I equate all the shit that scares me is where I'm going to feel the best. All the stuff that I don't want to do is going to make me feel the best. Every time I feel alive, proud of myself, happy, it's sunny, it's, birds are singing, it's because I fucking stepped into the fucking fire.
Yeah.
Whereas before I thought if I avoided the fire, I'll always be happy. And that's where I think a lot of people get fucked up is they think the avoidance of pain is happiness. But it's not. It's the perseverance through pain is happiness.
Yes, I've seen that so many times too, and I wish people could just like understand it. I'm like, you avoiding pain is actually causing more pain in the end, and you're not actually escaping anything. It's just making it worse. It turns into this like snowball effect.
Yeah.
Was this, when you like went through all this, was this before or after you were paralyzed?
Before.
Before?
Yeah.
So I feel like if you hadn't gone through this, you would have probably still be paralyzed right now because you learned really quickly to take a negative thing and to flip it in your mind.
I didn't think about that till just now, but yeah, I mean, you're 100% right. I mean, I literally had not one entity tell me I could get out of what I was in.
But you knew you could because you had done it before. You had gone through like so much shit your whole life, all this hardship, and you learned very quickly in college, it sounds like, that if I just switch my mindset, the same pain is happening, but I'm getting a different result because I'm not fearing it anymore. I'm running towards it and using it as an opportunity, and I'm letting myself grow through it. Mm-hmm. And like when you were paralyzed, you didn't go, okay, this is horrible. This is, what I'm about to go through for the rest of my life. Like this is a life sentence here. You're like, no, I'm going to do exactly what I've done before, which is I'm going to figure it out. This is probably very painful, like working through this and trying to like defy the odds and have people probably doubting you every step of the way.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not like doubting you like, oh, I don't think you'll be able to. They're like, Bart, you shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Like it's going to get
Like
worse.
medical advice to not do this.
Please stop. Like you're gonna like be like literally a vegetable. Like please stop. I don't know what it is, but in my mind, and this is stuck to me to today. I go, if there's even a 1% chance, why can't I be 1%?
Yeah.
Like if it's possible, why not me? Because all it's required is time and effort. That's it.
Yeah.
That's if you can have those two things, what can't you have?
That's right.
Time and effort. And if you're willing to give both of those, like why can't I have what I want?
Even if you're going to fail, you have to go at it like you're going to win. Because if you don't, you're absolutely going to fail. Yeah. So if there's only a 1% chance you're going to win, you might as well attack it as if you're that 1%. Because if you go at it in any other way, then yeah, that's why people do fail going into it. Like they know the risk is really high. They know the reward is also very high. But some people just aren't willing to like mentally put themselves in that place where they know what comes with that. I mean, there's a lot of stress, I guess is the only way to put it, that comes with like being someone who wants to achieve something huge. And it's not for everyone, and that's okay. But you also have to know that like if you're going to change the world or do something that leaves you feeling like you left your impact, you're gonna have to do something different than everyone else around you's doing. And
you're gonna have to believe in something that's different, right? Because that's the number one thing. If I think what everyone else thinks, I'm probably gonna end up doing what everyone else does.
Yeah.
Like, why would I do something different if we all think the same? I had a conversation the other day, and it really kind of was like a spark. I've learned to disconnect myself. I don't know how to vocabulary this. Disconnect myself from reality. Essentially.
Okay.
I don't know, dude.
Are you like blissfully naive like me a little bit?
Not naive.
Or not naive, but like, I don't know what the word is.
I don't know either. Like, I don't take my life personally.
Yeah.
I don't take it
I feel
personally.
like I'm the same way.
Yeah?
I don't really know how to explain it though, but first of all, I feel like I'm very misunderstood all the time because I look at things so differently than most people. So that's already like a struggle. But sometimes I just go into things and most people would like have an idea of how it's going to go or something. And for me, it's like, no, I'm just going to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I believe in myself enough to know I'm just going to figure it out. And so I kind of go in it like, I don't know if naive is the right word.
Without
but
a plan?
Yeah, a little bit. Even though I'm such a planner, I'm like so type A. But sometimes if it's like, if I'm just going to do it, I know like.
All right, let's go.
Yeah, like because you won't figure it out until you're ass deep in it. So.
I know. That's like the biggest irony of all time is that concept of I know where I'm going, but I have no fucking clue how it's gonna go, and I'm just gonna let you know once I get there.
Yeah,
right?
It's like that image you see like all over online where it's like what success looks like and how it goes like up and down and like there's no like roadmap. Like that's just, you learn after a while, like you can't control everything, so you might as well just like go for it and like figure it out as you go.
You know, you said you might fail. Like, you don't fail because we don't stop, right? Like, there's no point where you start your process and you go, okay, if this doesn't work, then I guess I'll be done.
Yeah, you only fail if you quit.
I'm just not done.
So if you choose not to quit, you will never fail.
It's literally impossible.
Like, you literally can't.
Yeah. I didn't know the gym was going to look like this.
No.
I just started finding shit and I'm like, oh, look at these lights, they're pretty cool. Oh, look at this equipment, that's pretty cool. Like,
and now you have the most aesthetic gym in
it wasn't like
O'Fallon.
I'm not like, yeah, right? The fucking world.
On this side of the Mississippi,
Ashley,
baby.
Come the fuck on. Are you serious?
I know, I made that very
Wow. Shots fired.
Best gym in
1
Missouri.
square mile, the best gym ever. Oh. All right, asshole. Here we go. Now
Time to step it up.
Now you just challenge the shit out of
Now
me.
we're
Watch what
renovating.
happens next week in this motherfucker. But no, dude, and that's why a lot of people don't want to go with you because it's terrifying to be like, hey, look, a cave. Woo! And then just fucking jump in and everyone's like, where the fuck is you going?
Right.
I don't know. We're going to find out. Oh, cool. There's a cool fucking thing on the cave. And like, oh, there's a bear. Oh, shit. We need to do something about that, you know? And everyone's like out by the fucking front going, are you okay? And you're like, it's fucking awesome in here. But no one's fucking willing to go in the cave. And I used to be the dude who would just walk around the cave and be like, yeah, I'm by a cave. It's fucking awesome. And never
Or you'd
actually
never
go
like dive in and see what, like explore what was there.
Yeah, because everyone else is on the outside of the tree line going, oh, fuck, Bart's by the cave. Bart's in the cave. And I'd be like next to the cave. Like, these fuckers don't know that I'm not actually in the cave. Like, I'm at the safest place I can be. It just seems like I'm cool. I think social media has fucking exaggerated the shit out of that. As a young person, I think it matters more to look a certain way than to be a certain way.
Yes, that's like all social media is anymore.
And that's how childhood was.
Yeah.
Right? Posers were a lot bigger of a thing when I was 14, 15,
I have not
16,
heard that word.
Poser, right? Yeah,
You just
right?
unlocked a memory.
That's what I'm saying.
What a poser.
Yeah, because they would wear the Jinkos and the
Yeah.
skateboard and us and like fucking emo posers and skateboard
Remember
posers.
the fat farms?
Yes, exactly. Right. Now you don't have the word poser because that's just fucking life for
Yeah,
most
like
people.
everyone's a poser.
Yes.
Because social media is like, you know, the highlight reel everyone always says, but it's like genuinely true. They'll come to the gym, squat once, take a video of it, and walk out the door versus actually putting in the work in silence by themselves.
I had people tell me they went to that California gym, Bradley Martin's gym.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Dragon's Lair.
Yeah,
some shit.
something. I don't know. It's crazy from what I've seen.
They told me like 90% of the people aren't working out. They just have their videographer, their fucking cameras, and they'll just do a movement and then they set up somewhere else. And they do a
Oh
movement.
my gosh.
Visit us at anskinbeauty.com to shop all of our medical grade skincare.